All right, so this one's going to be a little different. Originally, I was planning on having a whole script, and yeah, let's just say I'm tired of trying to attain perfection before I post anything, and not to say I ever really was, because I am the farthest thing away from perfection, and definitely an amateur, even though I've bought professional-ish equipment. Obviously, still learning, as you can tell. This is a green screen that's not great. It's a cloth one, and I thought it was going to be good, etc., etc. Either way, my name's Joe. This is Improve with Joe, or Joe Pluso Media. And yeah, what you get is, what you see is what you get. I'm definitely figuring a lot of things out still, figuring out, my place in the world and what, goals and actions I need to take in order to achieve that place that I, hope to have. I'm still writing my book. I'm about 40 pages-ish done, and I'm really trying to get it done by my birthday, which is just coming up in like a month or so. Lots of things going on. I'm actually going on a trip to Colombia for the USA Rugby South Panthers. Very excited about that. It's crazy because I did one in 2011 for my same coach. There's a couple other coaches. Either way, finally have something cool and exciting to take y'all on. So I'll be able to take you on a trip to Colombia. Not Columbia, South Carolina, either. The actual country of Colombia. So very excited about that. Going to go down and document the USA Rugby South Panthers playing against the Colombia national team. Should be pretty exciting. They're bringing 25 people. Unfortunately, 2 are going to be cut, so there'll be an interesting dynamic there. They'll have practices, practice game, and I'm going to try to interview each player, kind of learn a little bit more about them, their story, their backstory, because I didn't do that the previous time, and I definitely regret that. So, moving forward and learning from past experiences, this trip is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to need your help, actually, to plan it out. I'm definitely seeking ideas or feedback about the plan for the trip. It's coming up on August 1st to August 7th. I'll go through the actual plan itinerary and go through different locations that we'll be going to a little bit later, probably tomorrow or next week. Still waiting on my passport, so fingers crossed that actually comes in. But yeah, originally I wanted to talk about the Uvalde police shooting or numerous other things that are happening politically around the world. Obviously, as you might know, we're in a very interesting time in our life, and I'm just trying to figure out my place in it, just like a lot of other people are trying to figure out their place. Some people are really hell-bent on one solution, and some people are dead set on the other one. Some are based on religious ideas, some are based on just cultural value systems, and I'm really reaching here, I guess, in terms of my place in the world and who I am and what I try to do and what I'm trying to do. And you're obviously a huge part of that. I am not doing anything for the sake of myself. Obviously I want to travel and do things, but the goal for me is to communicate and show to you that we're not that different. For me, as an American that was 99% isolated from the rest of the world for a large percentage of my life, let's just say I've learned a lot of things. Whether or not it's about different religions around the world or different cultural systems or some potential history that we have that connects all of us. I've definitely been learning these past couple of years as I try to write this book. There's a variety of different topics that I'm going to try to present to people. Some are a little bit more eye-opening than others. Some are just a different, as I told my dad, it's a historical clarification. So I think that's going to be very important, for us and as we move forward, because I do think that the history and the information that's presented to children as they grow up is incredibly important, not just for us and how we'll be taken care of in our old age, but how the next generation and the next generation and the next generation will live their lives. We'll look at the world. We'll try to plan their lives in accordance with what the world needs and what's going on. Like, we need to do those things. We're in 2022, about to be 23, right? Yeah. And it's we've gone through a lot. America, other countries, the entire world has gone through a lot. And, there's definitely a lot of political dynamics there where I don't know everything. I have a huge library. I'm trying to build it, and fortunately, I haven't read them all yet. But that's part of the goal is acquire information and actually read it, understand it, process it, and then try to communicate that to you. So thankfully, I haven't read them all of them because I'll be able to read them with you. Here, I'll close my eyes, pick out one, and I'll tell you about it. Pakal, A Chemical Love Story. I'll save that one for later. Alright, we're going to go with Adam Grant's Originals. Still haven't read this one, except for the the basics of it. It's okay to be different and unique sometimes. Hopefully you take that diversity or unique perspective of who you are and how you grew up and who your parents were and what you view of the world. Hopefully you take that and do something positive with it and go forward into the future with, a dedication to improve. I think that is my frustration a lot of times when it comes with the world and a lot of people inside of it. As much as I love reaction videos of, different shows or different music videos, that's great. A large number of YouTubers create reaction videos, and I'm not hating on all of you, but I just wish that some of you would do something more. And that's just one example. Politicians, holy crap. Whether or not we don't need YouTubers to do more if we actually have politicians that do what they're supposed to do. I mean, it just boggles my mind that we still don't, hold them accountable. There should be new systems. We should be thinking about this and talking about it and trying to push this. And obviously that's something I hope to do. I don't have the degree or the verification or the credentials to really back up everything that I'm talking about, but I mean, I think I'm talking about ideas and the perspectives of those ideas and what we can do moving forward into the future. At least that's what I want to keep talking about and what I plan to keep talking about. It's a very interesting time, like I said, and it's up to all of us to collectively wake the hell up and really look at your own life and what you're doing, what place you have in your community, who looks up to you, who doesn't look up to you, who do you compare yourself with. I mean, that's just one aspect of who you are and who you are in your community and what importance that has. And unfortunately, we don't have as much of a community structure as we used to. I personally know I don't have that community structure, but also I need to go out and reach out and find that. I'm sure, I'm in a huge city in Atlanta. I know there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people involved in doing really, really good things, and that's part of the media's fault. They portray the society, this world that has nothing going on for it, that has nothing positive. And, that's part of this left-right, blue-red division that, not the Crips and Bloods, Republicans, Democrats, in case you need that clarification. Though that is a separate argument altogether, that there's just another artificially created division. This, sense of, the police state and everyone always, certain nationalities or certain races being more likely to do certain things. I mean, where does that come from? And, hey, usually it's history. Again, going back to that historical clarification. This is a lot of rambling, but I needed to do this. It's been quite a long time since I've posted a video, maybe a month or so, but I really am looking forward to getting back to the podcast, getting to a very regular kind of content creation schedule, communicating with you. I mean, I really do want to hear your feedback and what you think. Obviously as I make more videos, whether or not it's fitness or, going out and trying to ask questions to people in Piedmont Park or wherever they are, I'm seeking information. I'm seeking an understanding about the world, about myself, and about what role that I'm going to have in it and what role that everyone else will have in it, because I'm not going to be the one to change the world. I mean, it's going to be our current generation, the next generation, and the previous generation as a collective force that is going to be needed to change the world. We've been controlled by certain representatives of our government and certain political lobbyists and corporate donors that have pockets bigger than the tallest pile of gold that any dragon has ever sat on. These corporations are like that. And whether or not it's because of the tax structure, whether or not it's because of certain decisions that politicians have enabled and that we've enabled. I mean, not me specifically, though in a way, kind of. Everyone has their own little potential role to play in this grand scheme of things. We can all collectively make actions that change things, and that's the reality that I'm trying to take hold of more. I want to get involved in activism and all that kind of stuff, and not feel like I'm just wasting my time. And I think that's what a lot of people feel. To go out and protest in the street is, I know it's going to make a difference. I know it has made a difference, but it just seems, I'm wondering if there's any other better form of protest that we can do. And honestly, I think it comes down to the dollar. It comes down to where we spend our money, where we spend our time, and who we vote for. I mean, that's really, at this point, that's all we can do. There's an additional step where you can, create your own YouTube channel, create your own social media presence. I don't need to be the only one talking about all this stuff. I'm not, thankfully. I'm sure there are hundreds of other people, and I'm still seeking out those other people. If you know of anyone who's kind of talking along the same way that I am, in terms of trying to understand and change the world, like literally fundamentally change the world, I don't want to live my life and just, though I will be extremely happy and grateful to live my life and have children and have a happy wife and happy house and children and a good community presence and all that kind of stuff, I'm very happy to do that. But beyond that, I literally want next generations to think differently, to view the world in a little bit more of a positive way, a little bit more of a, hey, we can't do that. Because there was a time when we did, at least based on the reports, based on the news outlets and the reports, what it seemed like before World War I and before World War II, before Vietnam and Korea, before our country literally exported all of our manufacturing and skilled labor. I mean, our politicians literally gut this country, and we've let them do it, and past generations have let them do it because it's under this guise of, oh, those people are bad, don't like those people, these people are good, be among your tribe, and don't, accept the reality that you're the exact same as everyone else, that the people on the other side of the freaking world are very similar very similar to us. They just want to have a good life, want to have a good family, want to have kids, and just want to have some sense of purpose and enjoyment. I mean, obviously a lot of it is religious motivation or religious, ideals and value systems that make people think we're so different. Oh, your God has a different name? Pfft, you're so different than me. I mean, I grew up religious, and I still am religious in some ways. I'm looking forward to telling you about my God at some point, because I truly believe my God is a boundless God, and it's this contemporary word of God that corrupts and like confuses people, because it doesn't, whether or not it's God or spirituality or the whole spiritual but not religious movement is huge, and that's changing a lot of people, especially the younger generation. As people move up forward, there's a less of a the religious overtone about everything. There's more of a secular, okay, what can we do without, having that specific religious ideal dictate what direction we go. And it's just it's an exciting thing. There's definitely a lot of positivity in the world, a lot of good things going on, and I'd like to hope that I'm going to have some impact along that way. As I look at these books and think about what I've done the past 29 years of my life, almost 30 now, I fight the urge to be disappointed in what I've done, because I'm very happy with where I'm at now in terms of my relationship and who I am and what I view about the world and the sense of my own self, I guess. No longer so negative and so depressed or anxious about certain things in the world. Obviously, there's definitely a lot of anxiety still there, and I still think about certain depressive thoughts. Every single morning, it's a challenge to wake up and be positive. But that's part of the routine of just living and being positive and understanding, like, hey, there's a lot going on that we don't really understand, that we haven't really comprehended, or we don't know our exact place in the world, in the universe, and obviously it's a lot. And if you've gotten to this point, thank you so much. Truly love every single one of you who watches, whether or not you watch or not, honestly. If you do watch, awesome. I'm glad you do. I hope to be a better content creator for you and provide you more value. That's what I want to do, to be able to communicate to people and provide them value, to be able to learn these different complex topics and be able to present it to you in a simplistic way that really cuts out the shit. Like, what is actually the history of our country? What is the history of, the hunter-gatherer civilizations that existed around Göbekli Tepe? I still haven't figured out the perfect way to say that word, but it's a giant temple that used to be a skull cult, and either way, there's a lot of history to it. And I'm just hoping to be one person communicating to others, not only in this country, but countries around the world, to states and counties and localities and communities that don't think they fit in one specific area. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Abby's sending me TikToks. Thank you, Abby. And that's one thing too about TikTok. Like, oh my gosh, think about what the power of that application has done over the past year. Like, it's changing our world. What's going to come next? The election's coming up, and then 2 years the next one, and there's this huge thing called the World Economic Forum that's trying to make a lot of decisions around what our life is and where we're going with it, and to me it's pretty scary. I don't know. Maybe that's just that anxiety talking again about the unknown, about these people who seemingly have the decision-making power, and the rationale and the reasoning and the value system to make it. But that isn't necessarily what I believe or what someone else believes. So how do we all together make this decision and move it forward? And is it really money at the end of the day? Is that all it is? Are we all just financially bound to this idea for the rest of our lives? Or will we ever be able to break away from this sense of worth and value is the only thing that we have to do? Obviously, you need to get up and do things and provide value and live your life in a certain way, but whose system are we agreeing to? And yeah, like, I don't have all the answers. I am just one person talking in my apartment against a green screen that doesn't look the best with lights and et cetera, et cetera. I do believe I'm going to make progress. I do believe you're going to make progress as I go through the world and figure out more things. Especially with this trip to Colombia, it's literally going to be my first time getting out of this freaking country. As much as I love America, I love who we are, I love some of the values that we're founded on, I do need to see the world, I do need to experience it, and I'm just so ecstatic to be able to take you with me. I'm bringing my cameras, I'm bringing my drone, and I'm going to get to know a lot of good guys that are there, get to know as many people from Colombia that I can, and yeah, it's going to be a fun adventure. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to be a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I'm going to be learning every single day, and there's a lot that I need to learn before I even go. But, and I'm not letting myself edit this at all, or go back and forth about whether or not I'm going to post it or not. Like I've said before, I am an inherently flawed individual, striving to seek perfection on a daily basis without getting so caught up in all the details that I can't stop and just enjoy life. And that's part of the problem. Sometimes I want to enjoy life too much. But I also know, hey, I'm about to turn 30. I have at least 60 more years. At least that's what I'm hoping. My grandmother is 90 right now, about to turn 91. Incredibly impressive. Hey, Grandma, if you're watching, love you. Glad you're doing well. I need to come see you. But yeah, I have a lot more time ahead of me, and I view the next 30 years of my life as my working years. I've had fun for these first 29, 30. These have been my developmental, fun experience type thing, and now I need to work my butt off, travel the world, experience other things, document, get to know different people, and truly communicate that and bring you along, whether or not it just literally through the 2-dimensional video, through a 3-dimensional video that you can watch on your Oculus or virtual reality headset, hopefully getting a 360 camera soon, or in person. I would love to talk with anyone who is open to talking, whether or not through Zoom, online, whatever, or actually in person, whether or not you're in this country or a different country. If you're watching this outside of the United States, please comment. Let me know, especially if you made it to this point. Yeah. I think I want to end it with a little bit of meditation time, or at least thoughtful consideration about who I am, who you are, what our world is. So if you want, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just think about who you are, about what you're trying to do today, this week, this month, this year. Time moves really quick. We need to stop and enjoy it, and be in the moment, be mindful of what's going on around you, of who is around you, about what place and what impact you have on them and on yourself and on the larger community. But know that the sun will rise and the sun will set, and we'll continue on, and we'll think about all these things, and we'll figure them out. We will collectively move forward into the future together on a more positive note, moving, to actually change our future, to improve our collective future. And for me, anyway, that is my purpose. I like to view that as my purpose. That fills my heart with joy, that I actually think it's possible, and a tiny little bit. So thank you for watching. I'm Improve with Joe, and this is just one optimistic, future-focused perspective on how we can come together to change the world. But I wholeheartedly believe it, just like a lot of people believe a lot of things. This is my message. This is my improvement philosophy, or at least a part of it. I'm very excited to finish the book and actually tell you the rest of it. So go out there, be great, do great things, be positive, and let's move forward into a better future together. Thank you for improving. Thank you for watching, and have a great one. See you in the next one.